If you have a dream, chase for it. Simulan mo nang abutin. Make it happen. Come on and study Australia with AMVPS. Let's make your future bright with AMVPS. Legal migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo. AMVPS, 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 AMVPS. If you have a dream, chase for it. Simulan mo nang abutin. Make it happen. You can raise your family in Australia with AMVPS. Make your future bright with AMVPS. Ang migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo. AMVPS, 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 AMVPS.
For inquiries, visit our website amvpsolutions.info and Facebook page Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions.
One of the best feelings in life is having moments with the ones you love, even if you're far away from each other. Despite being 1,000 miles apart, our feelings haven't changed. Being beside you is a wish that I've long desired. With professional help, the long wait is over. Bridge the gap with Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions. You can study, work, or live in Australia. With the help of our experts, you can fix your migration and visa application efficiently. Now, love doesn't have to be distant. Call us now.
If you have a dream, chase for it. Simulan mo nang abutin. Make it happen. Come on and study Australia with AMVPS. Let's make your future bright with AMVPS. Legal migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo. AMVPS, 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 AMVPS. If you have a dream, chase for it. Simulan mo nang abutin. Make it happen. You can raise your family in Australia with AMVPS. Make your future bright with AMVPS. Ang migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo. AMVPS, 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 AMVPS.
For inquiries, visit our website amvpsolutions.info and Facebook page Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions.
One of the best feelings in life is having moments with the ones you love, even if you're far away from each other. Despite being 1,000 miles apart, our feelings haven't changed. Us now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's information session about the skills assessment for dentists in Australia. I am Edmund Galvez, and I am one of the registered migration agents of Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions. Now, for today's session, we will be focusing on the skills assessment for dentists. Now, what is skills assessment? Skills assessment is important for your skilled application and for your employer-sponsored visa applications. The purpose of the skills assessment is to see whether your acquired knowledge, your acquired skills are equivalent to what the Australian government is looking. So there are so many occupations in Australia that are in demand, and one of which is the dentist occupation. So before you can apply for a particular kind of visa, you need to pass the skills assessment. Now, in this information session, we will be informing you what are the 3 steps of the skills assessment and also what are the necessary documents that you will be needing to support your application. So basically, there are 3 steps in the skills assessment for dentists. One would be the initial assessment. In the initial assessment stage, you will be required to submit certain documents to prove that you are indeed a qualified and registered overseas dentist. And then afterwards, you need to take the written examination. And then if you pass the written examination, you will be required to undergo the practical examination. In this discussion, you will also know what are the forms needed to be filled and also the locations where you can take the exams and also the duration, the time frame as to when results will come out. So I will be sharing to you now my screen. I got this screen when I attended my CPD with Legal Training Australia. So as you can see, the skills assessing authority for dentists in Australia is the Australian Dental Council. And once the Australian Dental Council gives a positive skills assessment document, then that document can be used for your visa application, be it an employer-sponsored visa or a general skilled visa, which can either be 189 skilled independent or a state nomination visa or a regional visa. Now, the Australian Dental Council can assist primarily if you belong to one of these criteria. Now, for Filipino dentists, you will definitely fall under if you are an overseas qualified dentist applying for a specific visa scheme. Now, these are the 3 stages. First, you need to have initial assessment, and then the written examination, and then the practical examination. So the dentist's assessment process assesses the knowledge, skills, judgment, and professional competencies of an overseas trained dentist. So later I will show you what is the form required for you to be able to apply for the initial assessment. Now, what is the time frame for the initial assessment? Now, according to the Australian Dental Council, might take approximately 8 weeks before they make decision. The cost would be 610 Australian dollars. And then the initial assessment process basically involves assessing of your documents, such as your transcript of records, your professional qualifications, work experience, your registration history, and also your good standing to determine whether or not you will be eligible to sit for the written examination. So basically, during the initial assessment, you have to do nothing except to submit the documents. Now, later on, my partner, Ms. Yandy Ritual, will tell you what are the documents that needs certification and that you will be required to submit. Now, after you pass the initial assessment, then you can go to the second stage, which is the written examination. Now, what is the purpose of the written examination? Now, the written examination is primarily to test the knowledge of the science and practice of dentistry, and also to assess the application of clinical judgment and reasoning skills relevant to dental practice in Australia. So basically, it's more of theory. So it requires review for you to be able to refresh your memory about what you learned when you studied dentistry in the Philippines. Now, what are the requirements before a candidate be eligible to sit for the written exam? So, as I mentioned, you need to pass the initial assessment. And then, what is the time frame? The time frame is approximately up to 5 months. And the fees is not cheap. It's 2,000 Australian dollars. So as of the moment, I think the equivalent of a Philippine peso to one Australian dollar to Philippine peso is 35 pesos. So it's not simple. So it's really a requirement for you to do review. Later on, I'll tell you how can you prepare so that you can pass the written examination. Now, we also have here in the slides sample written examination questions. So as you can see, it's a multiple choice type of questions. And it's not just about identification. There are also sample of a scenario-based questions for the written exam. Now, question, what resources can I use to study? What reference materials can I use for studying the exam? Now, the content of the examinations is derived from the same broad range of resources that dental students and practitioners in Australia commonly refer to. So there are so many textbooks that you can use, and that textbook must be same with what Australian dental students are using to review their exams and everything. Now, your resources could be journals. This can be a dental journal, the British Dental Journal, the Journal of the American Dental Association, the Journal of Prosthetic Dentistry, the Journal of Dentistry, Operative Dentistry. Now, after passing the written examination, that's the time where you can proceed with the practical examination. If the written examination is for purposes of testing whether you know the theory, the practical examination is different. It is for the candidates to present or to demonstrate that they have the professional competence to perform safely in the role of a dentist in Australia, and assesses candidates across the professional competencies of the newly qualified dentist. Now, The number of days that will be used for the practical exam would be 2 days, and it consists of the technical skills day and the clinical skills day. And the exam shall be held in Melbourne, Australia. Now, I forgot to mention that the written exam need not be undertaken in Australia, as there are multiple locations, not just in Australia but also overseas. So it can be in the Philippines. And also, the time frame is 5 months for the written exam. Now, when can you be eligible to take the practical examination? Now, as I mentioned, you can only take the practical examination if you pass the written exam. And then the time frame for the practical examination is from 6 to 9 months. And the cost is not cheap. It's 4,500 Australian dollars. So it's a bit expensive. And for you to be able to pass the practical examination, you should expose yourself to the different areas of practice in dentistry. Now, what is the form used for applying the initial assessment? Now, the form is AS-1 V12 checklist. Now, this can be downloaded in the Australian Dental Council. Now, if you're applying for a dental hygienist, a dental therapist, and a dental prosthetist, you may be required to submit additional documents such as a specialty course results and or continuing professional education certificates. Now, let's discuss again the time frame for the Australian Dental Council skills assessment. Now, the practical examination application period, as I mentioned, might take approximately 3 months prior to the exam. Notification of application receipt within 2 weeks of receipt of application. And then notification of allocated practical examination date within 6 weeks of practical examination application. And lastly would be the notification of examination result 6 weeks after the examination. Now, question, what can I do to prepare for the practical examination? The Skills Assessing Authority or the Australian Dental Council strongly advises candidates to use information published by the Australian Dental Council as their definitive source of examination preparation material. So if you are planning to take the skills assessment, contact us and we will give you reference materials and guidance. And in fact, you can visit the link below. I'll share this on the screen later on so that you can have copy of practice examination guidelines and handbook. So I think that would be all. And if you have any question about the skills assessment and the visa pathways, just contact us and we will answer you. Thank you so much for listening. Now, Ms. Yandy Ritual will give us details of the needed documents for the initial assessment. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Good morning, all. This is Yandy, by the way. This morning, I will be presenting to you an overview on how you can gain a registration as a dentist here in Australia. All right, I'm just going to share my screen to you guys. Step the one. There you go. So, dentist general registration. To gain a registration here, you have 4 pathways, which you can see on your screen. I will go through them one by one, okay? And explain to you a little bit further. Sorry, guys. All right. The first one, dentists who are registered to practice in New Zealand are eligible to apply for general registration under the Trans-Tasman Mutual Registration, or recognition rather. And this applies irrespective of where in New Zealand you did your training, okay? An application form is available in APRA website, of course. The second one, dentist with eligible qualification from the UK, Ireland, and again, New Zealand. So I just want to reiterate, the first one is those who are already registered in New Zealand. However, this second one is just those who had undergone or obtained their bachelor degrees. Didn't specify whether they're already registered or not, okay? It's good to take note, especially if you are practicing or you have finished your degree in New Zealand. All right. So the Dental Board of Australia considers the bachelor degrees from these countries obtained from universities to be substantially equivalent to the approved qualifications for general registration as a dentist, okay? So in the next slide, you can see the list of universities. So under the United Kingdom, you have a lot here, okay? So let's say you finish your dental degree. Is that how you call it? Sorry. In University of London. So after graduation, you can apply for general registration, okay? And if you study in University of Dublin, it's the same goes. In New Zealand, they only, it's like accredited the University of Otago, okay? If you study in different university, then you may fall under the different pathway. The third one, if you're a dentist who have eligible qualification from Canada and compliant with additional requirements, you can also be eligible for general registration, okay? So qualifications of Doctor of Dental Surgery or Doctor of Dental Medicine in General Dentistry awarded after the 31st of March 2010 by universities in the said country. And the second one is if you have demonstrated the eligibility of registration in Canada by successfully completing the National Dental Examination Board of Canada or the NDEB examination. The last pathway, which I believe mostly applicable to Filipino dentists, is this one. All right. If qualifications do not meet requirements for registration to practice in Australia, there are two options. The first one, as you can see on the slide, is to complete an Australian qualification. And the second one is for you to undertake the examination procedure conducted by the Australian Dental Council, or ADC. The ADC, or Australian Dental Council, is the organization responsible for assessing overseas trained dentists to enable them to obtain registration in Australia. Overseas trained dentists are eligible to undertake the examination procedure if they have completed and passed a dental degree, which included at least 4 years full-time academic study at a university recognized by the ADC, and are registered as a dentist in their country of training or practice. All right. If you want to explore this one, you can visit the ADC website. What about the limited registration? The limited registration categories, the dentist with overseas qualification may apply for while working towards their general registration are: the first one, public sector dental workforce, and the limited registration of dentists for postgraduate training or supervised practice. The board have decided to close the first one, PSDWS, based on the submission it received during the consultation process, which supported the closure. And the closure was dated on the 1st of January this year only. All right. The second one is limited registration of dentists for postgrad training or supervised practice. So this pathway or alternate pathway provides registration in the PSDW scheme, international graduates whose dental qualification are not on the ADC approved list. Okay, and the fundamental requirement of this category of registration is supervised practice in the dental profession and employment with an appropriate public sector program offered by dental service facility, and it should be operated by the state or territory government. And in addition, the board must satisfy that the applicant is qualified for this category and that the applicant has completed qualification that is relevant to and suitable for this supervised practice. All right. But before you apply for this category of registration, you must complete the ADC preliminary examination and must complete the ADC final examination within 1 year of becoming registered. This may be extended to 2 years, but only with agreement by the employer. All right. The board's registration standard sets out the requirements for these two categories of limited registration. What about the document checklist you may need in applying for general registration? Of course, the first one is the application form, which will be found UNAPRA website. And then your proof of identification, like your passport, marriage certificate, or also known as change of name document, your birth certificate, your driver's license, and if you have any Australian visa, they'll be applicable as well. Your academic transcript, or we call it TOR, your certificate of good standing. All right, so if you're registered, let's say in PRC, I think, you have to arrange for them to send the documents directly to APRA, okay? Same goes in the different jurisdiction or different country. Let's say if you registered in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you have to arrange for that as well. All right. The fourth one is your updated resume. And then your criminal check, your NBI. If you stay more than 6 months in the other country or countries, then you will need to provide a police check from that jurisdiction as well. The sixth one is your English test result, such as your IELTS, OAT, or PTE. You must include your certificate of employment as well. You should put a detailed job description. And then your vaccination history, because obviously you are a health practitioner. All right, take note that all the documents must be certified copies, okay? I think that's it on my side. I hope you learned something. And, Sir Edmund Galvez will be presenting the skills assessment and the visa options for you. Again, all these presentation are just the general overview. It will be depending on your situation. If you need any questions, if you need any clarification, feel free to shoot us a message on Facebook. We'll be happy to answer them, okay? And again, good luck on your application, and we hope that we'll see you here down under, okay? Again, this is Yandy Ritual, and have a great day.
Once again, good day. My name is Edmund Galvez, and I am one of the registered migration agents of Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions. So we have just finished discussing to you the requirements and the stages of the skills assessment for dentists. Now let's discuss what are the visa options after you pass the skills assessment. Now I'll share to you one website where you can see and check whether or not you are eligible for the dentist occupation. Now, this is a very helpful website where you can check. Now, the code for dentist is 252312. Now, as you can see, the Skills Assessing Authority is the Australian Dental Council, and we learned that there are 3 stages. Number 1, you need to pass the initial assessment. Number 2, you need to pass the written exam. And then number 3 will be the practical exam. Now, what are the tasks under this code, this unit group 2523 of dental practitioners. Now, the tasks basically involves diagnosing dental diseases using a range of methods such as radiograph, saliva retests, medical histories, providing oral surgical treatment such as biopsy of tissue and prescription of medication, performing routine orthodontic treatment, restoring oral function of fixed oral prostheses and everything. So you can see here the tasks, and if majority of the tasks here are part of your job description, then you can definitely apply for a visa under this code 252312. Now, let's look at the visa options. Now, as you can see, as of the moment, November 10, 2020, the dentist as an occupation is not in the medium to long-term list, but is on the regional occupation list. Now, it is available for the skilled visas. These can be available under 491 visa. And for employer-sponsored visas, this can be available for A2 visa because the dentist is under the medium and short-term stream. And also the DAMA, designated agreement, migration agreement, labor agreement, you can also apply for dentist because it is in the occupation, under DAMA occupation. And also with the 187, 494, and if you want to undergo training in Australia, you can also apply under the visa subclass 407, the training visa. Now, as you know, the list changes, so it can be a possibility that the dentist as an occupation will be put back to the medium to long-term list. So, if you're a dentist and you are planning to come to Australia, or if you are a spouse of an Australian citizen who is and you are a dentist overseas, we can guide you so that you can practice your dentist profession here in Australia. So thank you so much and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you have a dream, chance for it, simulan mo lang, abutin, make it happen. When you raise your family in Australia with AMVPS, make your future bright with AMVPS. Migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo.
For inquiries, visit our website amvpsolutions.info and Facebook page Aussie Migration and Visa Professional Solutions.
If you have a dream, chase for it, simulan mo nang abutin, make it happen. Come on and study in Australia with AMVPS. Let's make your future bright with AMVPS. Legal migration, education, pangarap ay maabot na. AMVPS, ang kasama mo. AMVPS, 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 AMVPS.
One of the best feelings in life is having moments with the ones you love, even if you're far away from each other. Despite being 1,000 miles apart, our feelings haven't changed. Being beside you is a wish that I've long desired. With professional help, the long wait is over.